So hard till explode here. It's the HP encoder. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety Walkie Triple XL, and HP Encoder is our review sample today. If you didn't realize that from the absolutely awful jingle that I made before this, patent pending, yeah, HP Encoder. We've done the TKL, the spacer, the wireless TKL, which had switches that I absolutely loathe, but otherwise was a good keyboard. Very good, solid foundations and basics. And it's just more of the same with the encoder. This is a full-size keyboard. It has some really nice keycaps compared to the spacer. I don't know why these are like so much more better and nicer than that one. It was immediately noticeable when I pulled it out of the box. But before I get too ahead of myself, let's go from bottom to top with what's in the box. Well, you get the keyboard. Plus, it's got a braided cable, hard attached to it. That's about it. There's some stickers and some warranty information and other stuff, but it's a pretty straightforward package for a pretty straightforward device. Flat deck, all aluminium, very nicely machined, very nicely finished. Does look quite good. Should be easy to keep clean, not too much fingerprint hazard. The keycaps though, way more fingerprint hazard. Even trying to clean it up as best I could, you can still see some of the oil from my fingers. However, it's because I used this for actually quite a long time, because underneath these keycaps are CherryMX Reds. And they just feel like home. I had Cherry for probably 8 years before I switched to Kale, so yeah, these do feel very, very good. Pretty good audio from the keyboard as well, being a flat aluminum deck. It's got pretty good audio, as you can hear. Stabilizers are also not too bad on this. Can hear the shift. They're okay. They could use a little bit of lube just to clean them up. Spacebar as well. You can hear if you're hitting on the one side near the stabilizer, there's definitely no lubrication in any of those. So that's already an update I would like to see. I actually really like the font on these though. It's something that I think HP's done a really good job on, is coming up with like a little bit of a unique font that's actually really pleasant and speaks Omen. It says Omen with it. The branding on the top right over here of the keyboard above the numpad as well, with the nice Omen, the way it's embossed and stuff on there. I really do like that. It's subtle, but attractive. It fulfills all the purposes you want it to without it being gaudy or unattractive to look at. What you see lighting wise though, is what you get. Just normal red LEDs with white LEDs for the WASD, and that's it. Even the arrows on these, unlike the spacer, are in red. Programmable functions and stuff and software are once again quite limited. There is a software package for it, if not a little bit clunky. And for this specific keyboard, you can only do M1, M2, M4, and M5. So F1 to F5, then have a function key set which is attached to it, where you can then input macros and stuff. The bottom of the keyboard is nicely set up though. I much prefer this to what I saw with the spacer. The kickstands, really nice and beefy, rubberizing underneath them as well as on the actual feet themselves. Full 3 sides of rubberizing at the bottom means your ability to grip onto a surface when you put it down is extremely high. I mean, I can wobble the entire desk. There you go, Mr. Thor. So nicely set up, good basics. Performance, well, exceptional because it's cherries, CherryMX Reds. You can't really go wrong. I absolutely love the sort of spongy feel that cherries give. A lot of other switches, they tend to be almost too hard. It's almost like the springs or something is catching inside. Compared to my Kale Reds, I would much rather have a CherryMX Red, if I'm just being brutally honest. Price of this keyboard does set it at 2K. It does put it squarely in line with others that have Cherry Violas or Cherry Reds, and then have full backlit RGB capability. I'm very curious as to why HP did that. I don't actually know why they only went with a solid backlighting. Decent function keys, all the rest of it pretty good. It just seems like this is made solely for an HP Omen ecosystem though, with the red, right? And it doesn't lend itself into too many other areas. But if you just want a really good CherryMX keyboard with a solid backplate that you can easily remove keycaps off of at the literal flick of a button kind of thing, and then do a nice clean on it, then that's going to be perfect for that because it's got that default setup. Really good defaults here, really good base foundation, but like their 1100, which is already coming into market now, that then has a full software package attached to it, which is linked to this as well. A little bit clunky. They need to improve their software some, but it's a really good first foot forward into the peripheral space to make something unique looking with its own like custom font. Really good solid foundation using CherryMX switches as well. I think they got a good base platform here. For this keyboard, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10 because of just how good the basics have been done here. But I would generally like to see just some RGB backlighting and a little bit better software. And then the product is near perfect, especially if they manage to keep it at that price point. Anywho, that's all I have for you on the HP Encoder. If you have enjoyed this, please hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side.